Joel Michael Guy Sr., born February 10, 1955, was a pipeline engineering designer, and his wife Lisa Guy, born on August 8, 1961, was a human resource accounts payroll administrator for Jacobs Engineering. Joel Sr. had recently been laid off from his pipeline engineering job, and rather than try to find a new job at age 61, he made a decision to go ahead and retire. Lisa had realized her paycheck from her human resource job wasn't bringing much into the couple's budget anyway, so she decided she would retire as well. Joel and Lisa had been married 31 years. They both had a great sense of humor, were loving and kind-hearted, and the most compassionate people. Joel had 3 daughters by a previous marriage, and Lisa and Joel Sr. gave birth to their son, Joel Michael Guy Jr., in 1988. Joel Sr. and Lisa had just sold their 2-story home at Golden View Lane in Knoxville, Tennessee. They bought the home a year after their son, Joe Guy Jr., left for college. They were moving into Joel Sr.'s late mother's mountain home 90 miles away in Surgeonsville. They said goodbye to their daughters, who also lived in Tennessee, and made plans to say goodbye to Joel before he headed back to Baton Rouge after the family's last Thanksgiving get-together at the Tennessee home. They were looking forward to having Christmas with the family in Surgeonsville. Joel Jr. was distant. He always stayed to himself and never tried to have a relationship with anyone inside or outside of his family. The older he got, the more withdrawn he became. He never worked. He preferred to read books and use the computer. He was completely dependent on his parents' financial support and had been receiving it for 10 years. He had supposedly been studying to become a plastic surgeon, although it was reported that he withdrew from the university the previous year. Even after all that time, he never even got a degree. However, Lisa and Joel Sr. had planned to cut Joel Jr. off financially because they could no longer support him after their retirement. The couple's daughter indicated that her father told her that they notified Joel Jr. that they were not going to support him financially October 28th. Every dime of Lisa's paycheck was going to Joel Jr. His parents had been paying his rent and all of his bills while he still attended college. In fact, Lisa's friend said she worked only to give her son most of her paycheck. It was time for Joel Michael to stand on his own 2 feet. When faced with the reality that he would soon have to fend for himself, Joel Jr. took the most drastic measures you could imagine. His plot was to stab both parents, dismember and dissolve their remains, clean and burn down the home, as well as frame the father for the crime. Joel Jr. was to receive a $500,000 life insurance policy if both parents were dead or missing. Joel Jr. traveled from Baton Rouge, where he remained after dropping out of LSU in 2015, to his parents' home on Wednesday, November 23, 2016, to spend Thanksgiving with them and his 3 sisters. November 24, 2016, after the family had Thanksgiving dinner, the daughters left, but Joel Jr. remained for the weekend. While there, his sisters later noted that he was more talkative and open with the family than usual. They say that he usually was very reserved if he even came out of his room. However, on this occasion, he was offering his toys to his sister's children. The next day, Friday, February 25, 2016, Joel Jr. went with his father to their new home to move the family's boat. When they returned, he would begin parking his car inside the garage on Golden View Lane. Saturday, November 26, 2016, Lisa leaves the family home to go grocery shopping. Joel Jr. attacked and killed his father with a knife in a second-floor exercise room while Lisa was at Walmart shopping for groceries. Upon arriving home, Lisa entered through the front door and placed the groceries on the floor of the foyer. Went upstairs. Joel Jr. attacked her and killed her with a knife. 9 of her ribs were severed. Monday, November 28, 2016, Lisa did not show up for work. It was supposed to be her last day before she retired on December the 2nd. Her supervisor, Jennifer Whitehead, made multiple attempts to reach her by phone, but she did not pick up. Concerned for her safety, she called the authorities and asked them to perform a welfare check. Officer Stephen Ballard responded to Golden View Lane to conduct a welfare check and found the home empty. He rang the doorbell but didn't get an answer, so he left.
K96 297.
Later that day, Officer Jeremy McCord received the report that Lisa was missing. The report was called in by a different co-worker. It was not like Lisa to not show up for work and not answer her phone. Both McCord and Ballard went back to the home together. They didn't get an answer at the door, and the cars were still parked in the driveway. They thought it was strange that the house was for sale but had no real estate lockbox on the front door. When they checked the back of the home, they noticed the doorknob had been removed from the back door and placed on the front door. Through the hole left in the back door from the missing knob, police could feel the heat as well as a strange chemical odor coming from the inside of the house. While looking in the windows, they could see bags of groceries on the floor in the foyer. Perishable groceries that would not last in a house that warm. One of the officers called detectives in to check the inside of the home. The real estate agent who was selling the house told detectives there was a garage door opener in one of the vehicles. An officer opened one of the cars in the driveway and pressed the garage door opener, giving them access to the house. Once inside, they were hit with the full force of a chemical smell. The house's thermostat had been set to 90 degrees, along with additional space heaters running, putting the house at around 93 degrees.
There's a dog walking now. Oh shit, just walking.
I hear a dog howling.
Knox County Sheriff's Office!
They approached the table with both Joel and Lisa's wallets and a sledgehammer sitting on top, then another table that consisted of long guns. Even more strange, right in the entryway to the kitchen from the garage, sat a multitude of chemicals and cleaning products, an orange bag of baking soda, several gallon bottles of bleach, and a roll of trash bags. In the kitchen, they found the oven set to high heat and a covered pot boiling on the stove. They heard a dog bark coming from the upstairs of the home. As they started to go upstairs, they noticed the blood staining on the walls, and when they reached the top of the stairs, the family dog was locked in the upstairs laundry room without food or water.
Everybody out. That's blood, right? Everybody
Looks
out.
like it.
That blood or boo-boo?
It looks like blood.
Anybody got gloves on?
Yeah, I'm not close.
Knox County Sheriff's Office! We're here to check your welfare! And then just drop that. Knox County Sheriff's Office!
As they were looking down the hallway, they saw blood-splattered walls and dismembered hands on the floor and 2 large spots of blood on a rug. As they continued to move through the upstairs of the home, in the master bedroom, they discovered 2 blue plastic tubs with the dismembered bodies of Lisa and Joel soaking in homemade acid solution. Guy Sr. was stabbed at least 42 times, and Lisa had been stabbed at least 31 times. Guy Sr.'s hands was removed at the wrist and left on the exercise room floor. His foot was severed at the ankle. Severe damage was caused to his lungs, kidneys, and liver. He also had an injury on his shoulder so severe that a fragment of the weapon was deposited in the muscle tissue. His clothing was cut off his body and left in a bloody pile on the floor. Lisa's head was removed, carried downstairs, placed in the pot on the stove which had been boiling for over a day. Her clothing was also cut off her body and left in a pile on the floor. They both had their arms and legs separated at the joints. Guy Sr. was separated at the waist and Lisa at the knees, and their limbs and torsos were placed in a 45-gallon tote full of chemicals to dissolve. Each body had a large gash inflicted after death so that the chemicals would more quickly seep into the body's main cavity. Investigators found at the home sewer line cleaner, a bag of baking soda, drain opener, a bottle of acid, lye, hydrogen peroxide, several bottles of bleach, a spray bottle, a pair of gloves, and trash bags. The investigation quickly focused on Joel Goss Jr. after police found a detailed murder notebook inside a backpack left in the home. Joel wrote a list of things to do prior to the murders, along with noting items to bring with him, including a blender and a food processor. Guy Jr. carefully listed the methods he would use to kill his parents, then destroy evidence. In one note, he wrote, "Kill dog," but then crossed it out and replaced it with, "Take the dog with you." Guy Jr. received several cuts to his hands in the attack on his father, including a cut on his left thumb. After the murders, he is seen at Walmart's first aid section getting ointment and bandages. He also purchased alcohol and peroxide. On Sunday, he drove 9 hours back to Baton Rouge to be treated at a student clinic with the intention of returning to his parents' home to finish the job. Before making the trip, he transferred $4,665 from his mother's account. All of it went to Louisiana State University, where Joel was a student, from another bank account in his father's name. He made another payment to his utility company of $3,093. When he arrived back at his parents' residence, he saw yellow crime scene tape in the yard and a police vehicle in the driveway. He quickly turned around and went back to his apartment, where he used his mother's account to pay $9,000 in advance on his $910 monthly rent. The FBI and East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office placed Guy Jr. under surveillance after the crime scene was discovered. Guy Jr. was caught on several surveillance cameras buying the supplies he would later use to murder and try to dissolve his parents. He used cash for every transaction and self-checkout most of the time. He bought supplies for the murders as early as November 7, 2016, purchasing several items at an Ace Hardware. On November 18, 2016, at a Home Depot, cameras recorded him buying the bleach sprayer, extension cords, and a timer. At Academy Sports on November 19, 2016, he was seen buying a knife. On November 21st, cameras captured Guy Jr. at a Knoxville Walmart buying the blue totes. Guy Jr. was arrested on November 29, 2016 at his apartment complex on Nicholas Road when he tried to get in his 2006 Hyundai Sonata. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of felony murder, and 2 counts of abuse of a corpse. He was appointed a state defender to represent him in the case. Before the trial began, he made a motion to dismiss his lawyer and be given the death penalty. His motion was denied, and prosecutors said they would not seek the death penalty. His lawyers called no witnesses and presented zero evidence in his defense other than filing a motion that asked for the death penalty if he were to be found guilty. On October 2nd, 2020, after 700 pieces of evidence and 27 witnesses and 3 hours of deliberation, a jury found Joel Guy Jr. guilty of 2 counts of premeditated first-degree murder, 3 counts of felony murder, and 2 counts of abuse of a corpse. Joel Guy Jr., 32, sat with a blank expression on his face as the verdict was read. Before sentencing, the Tennessee Department of Corrections issued a handwritten note found in Joel Jr.'s jail cell outlining plans to gorge out his cellmate's eyes. Guy Jr. was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences plus 4 years. He showed no visible emotional reaction to the victim impact statements that were read by his sisters and family before sentencing. He is currently incarcerated at the Northwest Correctional Complex in Tipton, Tennessee. He will be eligible for parole on April 30, 2136.